What up, guys? Welcome to Table Talk, a CEDH podcast where our discussions go beyond the stack. Join us as we navigate the intricacies of CEDH, whether you're a seasoned planeswalker or a new recruit. Table Talk is your hub for CEDH. Let's get on with it. This is episode 1. Welcome, Kev, Rock. How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
All right, so I had the boys do some homework this week. So today's topic, pretty much the entirety of this podcast is the top 10 cards that were released in 2023 for CEDH specifically. We got some honorable mentions. We each got our own list. We're going to talk you through our lists, and then we're going to, at the end of this, try and, as a group, collectively agree upon a stack rank of the top 10 best cards that came out this year. Everybody good with that?
Yeah, man.
All right. So, Kev, why don't you kick us off? I know you were like super giddy about this shit. What were your 3 honorable mentions?
My 3 honorable mentions were in no specific order: Fairy Mastermind, Hoarding Broodlord, and Flesh Duplicate.
Oh, okay.
And there were quite a few that I wanted to add. I had Tyvar, Mists of Lorraine, Atali, Roaming Throne, Tishana's Tidebinder, Kitesail Larcenist, River Song, Dauntless Dismantler, Heliod, Francisco. There were so many good cards printed this year. This was so hard, condensed down to 10, or 13, sure. I guess.
Well, you kind of give away a little bit about what we were expecting in your top 10. Then I guess if those were all honorables.
Yeah, those were just honorables. Those didn't make the list.
A couple of those made my list.
Rocky, what do you got for your honorables?
And this list was harder than everybody probably thinks it was. But my honorables are, again, in no order or shape, fashion, whatever. Shieldred, Broodlord, and Obnixilis.
Oh, okay.
And again, I don't got a whole bunch to say like Kevin. He's a little more of a talker than I am. But there is a couple of those cards that he has in his honorable mentions that I thought probably a little better than he did. But I guess we can argue our points pretty soon here now. How come it?
No, yeah, for sure.
And what were yours, Josh?
Do it in a nice rec room fashion.
So,
screaming over each other.
Yeah, right.
Hell yeah.
My honorables were Lotho, Hoarding Broodlord, and Delighted Halfling.
Ooh,
yeah, right. So Lotho,
that's what I missed.
So Lotho that's a card that I really debated on putting in the top 10, but I feel like there are some cards in my top 10 that a lot of people are going to be like, really, you're putting that in there, and because they're kind of new cards. Yeah. I feel strongly about them, but we'll get there when we get there. Delighted Halfling is another one that I feel is I feel it's good in some decks, but since it only produces colorless mana unless it's specifically for a legendary, is what hurts it. So that's why it's an honorable mention and not in the top 10.
Uncounterable.
It does, man, and it's a lot less expensive than the land.
Yeah, but if you have I don't know, a Thrasios or something like that, it's not really doing a whole lot.
No. More than likely it's not.
Yeah, but it taps for colors for your Thrasios.
Yeah. For one.
There's ups and downs with it. I can see why it would make it, and I can see why it wouldn't.
No, it's because it's a dork. Yeah, putting a dork in the top 10 is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is a very powerful dork.
Yeah,
it does have 2 toughness.
It is a Cavern of Souls on a stick.
But it dies so easy to a card I know we all have in here. Bonus.
Yeah, but it also doesn't right away. Just on a blank one. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah. In response to a draw, maybe, but there's probably another 2 toughness creature on the board that you probably want to snipe with that instead of a dork, unless it's a Rocco deck or something.
Mm-hmm.
Real good.
Or maybe a Traxa.
Yeah, really good in Atraxa too. You want that Atraxa to land, so.
For sure.
No, yeah, 100%.
And being 4 colors, it just makes it a little easy. It's a great dork. It made my list.
Yeah. Well, it made my top 10. It was rather close.
Why don't we go with you first? What's your number 10?
My number 10 was Atraxa. And it would have made my honorable mentions, but I had too many of those. So Atraxa has been a commander this year that came out and It blew every. I'm sorry for the language,
No, you're
Josh
good,
and
dude. Don't
viewers.
worry about it. You can go.
Okay. Yeah, but it blew everybody's mind, especially over here in the rec room. We had a couple good pilots of Atraxa, and they were just wrecking shop,
Dude,
man.
one thing I will say about Atraxo is like it took out Thrasios Timno.
TNT, man,
It
like it
took
was
out
the gold
TNT. Like
standard
it was the gold
before.
standard of
Yeah,
CEDH before.
before Blue Farm came out, it was
Yeah.
the gold standard of CEDH.
Well,
I remember plenty of Friday night Magic losing to a TNT deck when I was playing high powered.
so I
Oh, yeah.
also have a tracks in my 10, but she ain't number 10. But
Yeah,
I do have to agree. Like the fact that she came out and completely just made such a staple deck obsolete so quickly,
Yeah,
like that
I
says
just
there's
something,
better
right?
things to do in the color. It's like
I
Yeah.
also
it's crazy. Like
I also think at that time it was we were due a new deck that was actually viable in the meta,
Mm-hmm.
like a new commander to come out that would stop everybody from playing TNT, stop everybody from playing like all the same meta decks. That came out and was actually viable in top tier play. So
because nobody's gonna
that's
play Silas Sadar.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. For sure. But yeah, that card it took CEDH
It just
by
hopped right
storm.
in.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah,
hopped right in.
it's like, hey man, I was here. I should have been here a long time ago. Get out of my way, guy. Throwing bows at him and shit.
Kev,
Like
what's
the
your
edge of a wing.
number 10?
My number 10 is a card that had quite a bit of hype right at preview. It came out of the new Eldraine set. It is Beseech the Mirror.
Okay.
That's on my list.
Like, I think it had a lot more hype than it deserved and what we wound up like seeing for sure, but it's still very powerful and made my list. I know I've died to a couple of Thoracles being tutored out to Battlefield with this thing. Just
Yeah,
puts it right on the stack, like, ugh. Not
I
really
thought
much to say about it. The card speaks for itself, man. It's
for
quite the bargain. And it got bargain on the card. You know what I'm
no pun intended.
saying? It was intended.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Beseech is definitely on my list too. I mean, I still personally don't run it as much as I might be able to, but it's for
I
reasons I carry myself because it's a 4 mana cost card that I
mhm.
guess pays for itself in up to a 4 mana, but it's also very color intensive.
Yes,
Um,
it's 3 pips, so it's
in
either got to be
certain
cast
decks,
off a dark writ or a
mhm,
low color deck. Like once you get those wide color variety, it's hard
yeah,
to make those
harder to
3
play.
single color pips without hurting the rest of your plays.
I
Yeah.
mean, in certain decks, the card is tits, dude. It's Chef's Kiss. It's in a Crick deck. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah, no,
Jesus,
dude.
Cricket was just instant,
instant
stuck
win.
right
Yeah,
in.
like get out of here. Let's
It
shuffle
was
up
just
and
like my
play
first
again.
2 cards on my list are Crick cards.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. I mean, it's a
but
powerful color, man.
I was
We
just
Oh,
can't
about to
yeah.
stay
say
away
it's
from
one
it.
of those cards that, like, and you said mentioned it was 4 mana cost. If you're playing black and CDH, if you're not on Crick, you're probably playing Adnos. Like it's just well
So you're
known. Like
probably running a writ, which means it's pretty easy to cast to
yeah, it's
begin
easy,
with.
but I'm saying like it'll hurt on an Adnos flip. Like yeah, like just hitting. There's just not a lot of room for 4 drops in Adnos decks
Exactly.
unless you're risky.
That's where my bias comes from, and a lot of my card choices and deck building is those cards that cost above 3 mana. Even my 3 mana spots are
Oh, you gotta
really
like
really
shrink
tough.
them down. You gotta
They're
like condense
really tough
just
to
the most
keep.
powerful of the
But
threes.
Yeah.
this is a topic for another podcast. But with the way the meta is shifting, it seems like Adnaz is becoming less and less relevant in the format.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a rotating door.
No, of course, like it
It
will
will
come
pop
back.
right back up.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
will. Like
I'm
it's
not
a
saying
5
like, hey,
mana
sell
card
your
that just draws
Adnazes or anything. I'm just saying
you
like,
like 30 cards on
Yeah,
average sometimes.
with
You know, like
how Watsy's going right now, and they're making all this gas, all these power creeps, man. Everything's viable to come, like everything's liable to come back. We're
100%.
gonna start being able to break a lot of stuff that we thought was trash and casual cards and stuff like that, man.
So I'm gonna go in and interrupt here. My number 10 is Kitesail Larcenist. It's a new
This is
card.
a card. It's
It's
a
a
card I haven't
great card.
seen yet, really. Like I
Yeah,
haven't
so
seen
no,
it played yet.
exactly. So that's the thing. I know that's what I was saying. Like that's why I defended it like ahead of time. I'm like, I know people are gonna be like, you're putting this card above Lotho and shit like that. Yeah, yeah. Kitesail Larcenist. If you look at it as a whole, looks like a pretty meh card. It's a 3-drop. What a 3-drop 2/1 with flying ward
2/3,
1.
2/3 with
2/3.
flying ward 1.
2/3 flying ward 1. But the thing is it's one of the very few ways in the format currently to deal with the One Ring or multiple One Rings at that.
Yes, it does
Or
target
cauldron.
one thing from each
Or a
player.
cauldron. Yeah,
Or
exactly.
the cauldron. Or the
Cauldron, a
Thrastio or
problematic
something.
creature that's on an opponent's board. Like there's
You get to answer three
three
threats.
specific threats that are creatures or artifacts for 3 mana, and it's got ward. Dude,
Yeah.
it's.
I mean, there's
super
not
good.
much better you can get than taking out someone's One Ring, someone else's cauldron, and then a cannon on the other side of the board. You know,
Like
It
if
just-
I could
one fell
defend
swoop.
reasonably that Rushing River was a viable card for a little bit, Kitesail Larcenist is just so much better and provides so
You'll
For the
much
same
never
value.
amount of
win that
mana. For
argument.
the same amount of mana.
Yeah,
You're gonna
exactly.
embarrass
That
yourself
and
in
in
front of
certain
all the
decks,
fans.
like I know Francisco's the big hype right now. He's a fucking pirate. He pairs well with him too. Like there's just so many little things. It's a good card. It's a really good
Yeah.
card, and I think it's going to see a lot more play as the format expands and more people understand the power of the One Ring. I think people are going to start being like, shit, we really do need to be able to stop the One Ring and stop them from doing their shit. I think with Ian playing Derevi and showing the power of the One Ring and just being able to draw an absurd amount of cards, people are going to start catching on to Kitesail and being like, that's a card we need to actually start including in our decks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm actually I'm looking. I got one in the cart right now for my Demir Pirates with Frankie. I want to try it. I don't know about it. I just got to see it. I know it's got a good
For
effect.
$1,
It's got
for
a great
a
effect.
dollar
For
card,
$1, I might
worth
just
testing.
try it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a $1 card. It literally, when I was running Frankie Crom, it literally won me several games.
I'm sure it's got its uses, man.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. I mean, for the same reason. Well, I'm not even going to go into it. It might be on somebody's list to be continued. We'll talk about it later.
Let's do number 9. I'll start us off here. I got Obnix. I think
Okay.
Obnix coming yet again. It's kind of like Atraxa and a few of the other cards we've brought up or are planning on bringing up. It's a card that came into the format, and as soon as it hit, it was like, oh shit, that's kind of neat. Like I remember when Josh Kiloa started brewing that deck when it was just being announced, and it seemed super sick.
Yeah,
He
that's up
already
his
had
alley, too.
he
He's-
alrelike that Gearson deck built.
Yeah,
so
he had it in
he's
his
like,
board.
I know so many red cards that deal 1 damage. Like
I know how to break this.
So then to see it actually do its thing, and it's done fairly well. I'm pretty sure it's played
And-
a few
and
top
evolved.
16.
For sure.
evolved
For
as
sure.
well,
It's not,
too.
it didn't stop getting good cards, is
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Obnix got printed, and then like was it before Obnix or after Obnix that All Will Be One got printed?
I think
That was
it came.
before, right?
It was before. Like that came from
All Will Be One came, and then Obnix came, which
new
is like
Phyrexia.
an auto like
New-
perfect pairing, and you're like, what
The
is this?
Phyrexia,
All Will Be
all will
One.
be. It came from All Will Be One.
Mhm.
I think that was the set. Phyrexia, All Will Be One.
But then
yeah.
like it,
Yeah, it's a really good card.
it
it was a
made
good-
Rakdos mid range
Viable.
Viable again.
because like if you were seeing Rakdos, you were seeing those Roger Tavesh decks, and
they were mainly just stacks.
that's it.
I still don't think the decks. Anybody's found the sweet spot for that deck. I believe it's a lot better than it's proving to be, and whatever anybody's showing with it, because it seems to have a lot of answers. But I think it's just it's a brewer problem, and maybe a piloting thing. People need to get reps in with the deck and see what works. Because I don't know why, but I'm so sure that deck is a house.
Yeah.
It would play it the right way. I just think people sometimes use too many synergy pieces and not enough combo pieces. So when they're exiling stuff, it starts going, all their synergy pieces start going in, and not enough real value comes out. But yeah, I think there's a sweet spot to be had.
Oh, 100%. All right. All right, Kev, what was your number 9?
My Number 9, Dauntless Dismantler. Just being a one-sided stacks piece with a wipe ability
Mm-hmm.
and 4 toughness.
No, yeah.
What's the downside to this thing? There isn't one. Like, it is so. I haven't tested with it. I don't play like a Staxy style, but I've had to deal with this like in the face of one of these with like these Tivit decks, man.
The worst.
And it's not a
and
fun
it's
thing to have to deal with. It
it's
made the
not.
monkey good. You remember
It
the
makes
monkey?
Dockside bad.
No, you remember the monkey that used to do the same thing, but it was so bad that no one ever used it. It's the ape that you pay XX and a red.
Oh yes.
Um,
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
and everybody said it was trash, and I always try to figure out why. But since everybody said it was trash, I never put it in any decks.
I know. Oh man, it's gonna bother me what that is now.
I have one somewhere sitting around.
Yeah,
Throw
I
it
know
up on your
exactly.
screen
Yeah, he'll throw
It
it.
is.
It'll be right here. So wait.
I'm
There it is.
just trying to use my brain power.
Right up here.
Oh my god.
All right, move on. Next,
Yeah,
I'm 9.
Right.
Well, this
number-
card has already been mentioned here, and we've had a conversation about it. So it's Devoted Halfling is where I had it number 9.
Oh, okay.
But yes, this was my 9. I don't see a reason to.
Delighted Halfling?
Yeah, Delighted Halfling.
Oh, Delighted Halfling. That's
Devoted Halfling.
yeah, that's what I mean.
No, yeah.
I actually wrote Devoted Halfling.
Thinking about Devoted Druid, how great that is.
Yeah, it was a pretty good card too, man. It got a lot of hype in the beginning. People used it all the time, and then where did everybody's Swift Recons go?
Dude, the only decks I've seen really utilizing that is the Thrasios and Bruce.
And TNT was on it.
And TNT too, I guess. Hardly see any TNT anymore because of Atraxa.
Yeah,
about.
That is a fair point. What do you got, Josh?
So I guess I'll go number 8 then, because I already did my 9 for Rob next. We'll go Invasion of Ikoria.
Ooh.
So it's a great card. It's powerhouse. I think it's another much needed green tutor. I think it's non-humans, right? It's like Finale in that regard.
It's exactly a Finale, but the thing is, it's a little harder to counter, I think, than a Finale is, because the Swan doesn't touch it.
Yeah.
The Swan Song cannot eat it.
So that's why I almost prefer it over Finale, because it's a lot less, like, it's almost as difficult to counter as a creature in this format. And
a 9/9 trample is never bad either.
That too, right? And unfortunately, unless you're running mana drains and delays and shit like that, there's not a whole lot of creature interaction.
Yeah, I mean, Force of Will get it, Pact of Negation, but that's also a choice somebody's going to have to make, because those are some really powerful interaction pieces that they might not want to use on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a very good card, and it did not make my list, although it's probably because I'm very bad at doing homework.
But, like, I feel... Now, you don't see it too often, but when somebody actually swings at it and flips it, it's fucking insane when it actually happens.
I loved it in Dargo, man. If I could swing Dargo the same turn, I could cast that spell and get a whole nother beater. It was tits.
No, fuck yeah. It's an insane card, and like I've seen it be used successfully in is it Atali? Is that the dinosaur, the red green one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With Chief, I've seen him use it and smash it that same turn, and then fucking he's now got an 8/8 with an Atali, and you're just like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do here?
Oh yeah, 8/8, no. 8/8 and an 11/11.
Yeah, with infect bullshit. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
But
bring it on.
Let's kick it to you, Rec. What do you got as 8?
8 is my Beseech the Mirror.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And again, it's a card that I don't find myself using enough, or I mean, using at all much, because it's just something I'm always wary about casting those higher mana cost spells. I know it's powerful to banger.
Yeah, it just feels so fucking bad when you invest that much mana into something and
And the
Swan,
sacrifice.
Swan eats it. Like Swan Song is the card is the bane of my existence, dude. I cannot stand a cheap counter or a free counter, and I mean, I'm better. I take it better to get a Force of Will or Fierce than a Swan Song. If I'm paying 4 mana into something, and you're like, here, take a Swan Song, or take a Swan. But yeah, that's why Beseech is so low on my list. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to argue that, but we can argue.
Mine was at 10.
Mine is
Yeah.
at 7. So
Well, my 8, real quick, is Delighted Halfling, and this is another card that we've already had discussion about, but I really feel like it earned its spot because any green deck can run it. Any green deck, literally any green deck, any deck that's green can touch. Can it just slots right in? It says, "Oh, is your game plan to play your commander? I got you, boo. I got you. Let's do
You
this."
don't have to worry about me.
so as much as I love to agree with you, the fact that it doesn't have haste.
Oh well,
Like
not many
no other
dorks
I know,
do.
I
Like,
understand
especially
that,
not a
right?
1 mana dork.
1 mana is
So I
with
get
a
that.
butt.
I get that, but like
It's that T1 investment.
I'm
It's
sorry.
that,
I still value a bop over
yeah, Bob. Like
Delighted
in some
I mean,
aspects, but like
we're not talking
it
about
has
I
its
know,
downs too.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to one drop dorks, I value them very highly. That's why I put it in my honorables, but I don't think it, like that's why I didn't put it in my 10.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Even even with it just being a colorless, like when you're not, it's still a 1 mana investment that is taking you up in mana your next turn. Like,
Especially in a green deck where the bulk of your turn ones are gonna want a dork
No,
Mhm.
yeah,
on
for
turn
sure.
one, and it's just it's just redundancy, and you can never call it a bad card. I mean, it's a if nothing else, it's got a bigger butt than
it's also
No,
it's the
yeah.
best dork for Sisay.
the best,
The best dork
dork
for
for
Sisay.
Sisay, yeah.
All right. So since we kind of already brought it up, my number 7 is Beseech the Mirror. It's a card that I don't own, so I haven't been able to play test with personally. I've only seen it a handful of times. It seems like a powerful card, but like Rekka said, with a 4 mana investment, just I don't know if I can warrant it being a card that I run in a lot of my decks. It really has to be a card. It really has to, like, for a 4 drop in the decks that I run specifically. It really has to mean something. And I don't know if Beseech is really there for me in most of my decks. Plus, Najeela's an Adnaz, so I don't really think a 4 drop for Beseech in an Adnaz deck is worth it.
The Siege in Najeela doesn't seem too bad though, because it's a Derevi to the battlefield, dog.
So you're not wrong, and I've seen a lot
But-
of brews with it. Yet again, I don't own it, so I haven't been able to play test with it personally. But the brews I've seen with Beseech in it don't ever make top 16. So
And I believe that's got something to do with Najeela being a 5-color deck, and you need 3 pips, and it almost has to be paired up with a ritual of some sort.
or at least an abundance of treasures.
Although the card, what it does is great, the mana cost really kills me.
Yeah, 100%.
If it was 1 mana on either side less, even if it was like even if it was like what do you call it? The enchantment, 3 mana. Why am I drawing a blank here? 3 black mana
Necropotence.
enchantment. Necropotence. If it was Necropotence mana, that'd still be pretty dang good. I might just do it like that.
Yeah, you might consider it a little more, and I agree with that.
It just takes the writ. It doesn't take a writ, a land,
Mhm.
well, 2 lands, a writ,
Yeah.
and
It requires and it wants
something
you
to
to sack
sacrifice.
something. Yeah.
Got a bargain, man.
You got a bargain.
Drives a hard bargain.
Kev, what's your 7?
My number 7 is a card we've already talked about, but it is Invasion of Ikoria. And oddly enough, even playing Kenrith, I have yet to really test with it. I haven't had one in my collection. I have one printed off sitting right next to me in my stuff. I just couldn't find another cut for it. with it not being able to get Grand Abolisher is like ouchy, but
I mean, it gets Dockside. It
Now
gets
you
but it
can
gets
Fimage.
run
Dockside.
Cutzel.
It's Fimage. It gets Dockside. It
Is
gets...
Cutzel a human?
No,
It's not. It's a
No,
cat.
Cutzel
it's
isn't a
Cat
cat.
human.
warrior.
It's a warrior.
That's right.
Cat's all...
Um,
uh-huh.
but yeah, I have it. I have it at 7 because I do know it. I do know its power. Like it does just grab so many things, and that's another thing I just said about the last card we were talking about. It's a Thoracle to the battlefield. You know, like it's
Mhm.
The cleanest
it's
win con.
yeah, the cleanest
Well,
win con.
it's
CEDH,
to
you
the
know?
stack.
Yeah.
To the stack.
Yeah.
To the
But
stack.
no, this the Beseech is to the stack. This is to the battlefield.
Oh, this is to the battlefield. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. So much Besiege talk. It's
Right.
Yeah,
killing me.
it's yeah.
What's
I mean,
what's your 7?
My number 7 is actually a card you just mentioned. Thank you very much, Josh. Cutzel. Cutzel is my number 7.
I didn't even make my mentions.
That's
Now I'm thinking about it.
yeah.
It's just
I mean, I
something
just
slipped through the
it's
cracks for me.
yeah. It's not Grand Abolisher. It is a little more color intensive.
You can
Maybe
still
not.
activate abilities, right?
You could still activate abilities of creatures and artifacts. It's just a silence, I believe. But
It's so
with
strong.
in the right deck, dude, that card can, because in the right deck is a deck that has been missing card advantage for so long, right? Something like the new Elevere. Cutzel in Elevere is a house, dude, because every time anything attacks, it gets a +1/+1 enchantment on it. And then its power is higher than its original power is. Then you draw cards every time
Yeah,
that
I
thing
forget
hits.
about that part of it. I
Yeah.
always forget about the drawing cards off of that thing as well. And
That in something like Sisay, where Sisay is constantly bigger than she's supposed to be, or anything with a Soul Cauldron in it is putting 1/1 counters on stuff, and it's giving you that
Kenrith can just put counters on stuff.
pretty
Oh,
much.
And then
Kenrith
there's Najila
counters,
that's taking a different advantage of it, making
Yeah.
more warriors because
making
it's a
more
warrior.
Yeah, it's a warrior,
So I
exactly.
like that, and there's another card that I sure is in our probably our top 5s, but like you pair Cutzel with Agatha's Soul Cauldron, and now any creature is a draw engine.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no.
Yes, as long as you
because put
exile a
+1/+1
creature, it
counter
puts a +1/+1 counter on that creature.
Oh, yeah.
on any creature. Yeah.
Yes,
Right? So
yes.
literally, you
I
pair
thought
those two
you
cards
like
and
you
any creature,
just
as long as it gets a hit in, it's a fucking draw engine now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So that's
like,
why and we needed another abolisher effect. You know, like the Grand
Najila really
Abolisher
needed
was
it too,
good.
honestly.
Mhm.
And like,
I
yeah,
mean,
the warrior
at 3
aspect of it is
mana,
fun.
it's still a kind of a stretch at 3 mana with 2 different color pips in it, but it is an investment I'm willing to take every time.
I wasn't
I will.
expecting to see it at uncommon. That's
Right.
saying nothing
Right?
Right.
about it.
That was
With all the text on that thing, that's a rare. Just 2 years ago, that's a rare.
at least
Like
That's power card
like
too.
if not a what do you call it? Unique, or what is it?
a mythic.
Mythic there. Mythic rare. Unique. Diablo. Ugh.
All right, let's
But
go
yeah.
to your 6, Brock. What do you got?
My 6 is actually a card that didn't make my own list, but now that I'm looking at it, I think I can swap it out for something up there.
Okay.
Yes. Well, no. You know what? I'm gonna keep it how it is. I should have had a different honorable mention. I realized Shieldred was in my honorable mentions, and it probably shouldn't have. So what will make it this time is Samut, because
Yeah.
that is also another card that's pretty good in a couple other decks. But that is a honorable mention for me. My 6 is going to be Flesh Duplicant, because in this meta we are playing right now, which is
Creature heavy.
going creature heavy and mid range, with a lot of these creatures coming out that have really crazy abilities, and even just a dockside having
triggers like a dockside.
yeah, having another counter for another copy for a dockside that is not going to die when you try to flicker it with something is it was again tits.
No,
Pretty
yeah,
good card for me.
100%.
Yeah.
I love Flesh Duplicate.
I just think yeah.
I do
Go
think
ahead.
it's fantastic, and I do have to agree. It didn't make my list, and now that I'm looking at my list, I'm like, damn, it could have at the very least made honorable mentions. You're not wrong. The neat thing you can really do is you can fucking flesh duplicate a dockside, like an opponent's dockside, remove their dockside, know in 3 turns your dockside is gone. So unless they have a way to clone it or bring it back or something like that, the dockside problem is dealt with.
Yeah. Or you could be greedy, and if you're running the flicker combos and the dockside's not going to get you infinite mana this time, you can cast another non-creature and get rid of your own dockside, so no one else counters it without having to lose it to the bin like we were the whole time with Fimmage. Yeah.
What I like about it is if you're running the flicker combo yourself and you can't find your dockside, somebody's got a dockside out there, and you're just like, fine. Oh, thank goodness, I have another copy in my deck. If you have one out on the battlefield, it's like boom, hit that flesh duplicate, Emil it, bounce it. You gonna do something about that dockside on your side, or do I just win this game right here?
Exactly.
It's so good.
Copy effects right now are very, very good. So yeah.
And with some of the things that you can copy right now, is just, man, I'm seeing more Gilded Drakes. I'm seeing the old BM that I'm sure is at the top of our list that we haven't really mentioned yet. But
it's the kryptonite for it, man.
Yeah, it really is.
All the copy effects are kryptonite. That's how you kill a bowmaster.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
The best way to do it.
What's your 6?
With itself? My 6 is a card that was mentioned back at the beginning somewhere, but I put him up a little higher. I put Lotho, Corrupt Sheriff, at my number 6.
That was a very good
one, because just the value that he is gaining just being out on the battlefield for like a blue farm deck, and whatever. He also is technically a deck himself, yet Tivit is just cranking the value out with this thing. Oh my god, it's so good in Tivit. But it made, and there be an Orzhov commander.
I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah. I'm just so like, wow, all right, we're really doing this now, huh? All right.
I've never seen it win. I think it's more.
And I haven't seen it win yet, really, either. But I'm seeing it at the table, and that is
always
a big step for the color combo. Like, I'm sorry, Molly. Sorry.
The Angel's good. I promise. Don't play it anymore, please.
Don't audit me.
The thing I like about Lotho is it's kind of, and we've had this discussion 100 times, is it's like Ogma, where it's good enough to hit the board, and like if it resolves, you're going to sit there and gain value. But it's bad enough that no one is going to waste a removal spell on it.
Exactly right. It might get the ass end of a fire covenant
or trigger somewhere down the line.
Bowmaster is the only exception, right?
Yeah.
Like other than Bowmasters, no one's gonna be fucking lightning bolting it. They're not gonna be fucking dismembering soul.
No, but it's gonna catch the ass end of every fire covenant you see.
It will.
Yeah, but that's one of those cards that I frequently try to test and just always pull it. It's always my 101. It's always my 101.
I love it. Yeah, when I cannot run a full board wipe, I'm running a fire covenant.
Fair enough.
If I can.
I agree. My number 6 is one that we already brought up a little bit ago. I'm pretty sure it's a Traxa Grand Unifier. She's fucking great, dude. Like we said, she completely obliterated a deck that was very much a mainstay in the meta.
Dude, I still can't get over the fact that it just said, "Get out of town. We found something better to do."
Yeah, right. Move your big ass.
You just can't say enough good things about it.
It's the best food chain deck.
It really, it's one of them.
It's the best food chain deck.
Yeah. Rocco is really good.
It can't run Squee, but it still has access to Mist.
Both of the other one.
It still has access to 2 of them. And it's just so good.
I think it's really close.
Drawing almost 7 cards. Like the possibility of drawing 7 cards off of ETB. Grizzlebrand is banned for that. Like,
right.
Exactly.
God.
So I guess I'll do my number 5 here. We're kicking it off. It'll be the first BM of the night. It's our boy Bowmaster.
At 5?
At 5.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's a little high. But I'm confident. I'm confident with the 4 that are above it. I think that these 4 cards above it are cards that are definitely better than Bowmaster in some ways. That being said, I do think Bowmaster is that one black card that
It
is
doesn't
kind of
matter
like the
if you're
Oppo
in
or the
black.
Derevi or the Dothi, sorry. You just throw it in the deck, no matter
Yeah,
what.
if you're in black, it deserves a spot. Like it just goes right
100%.
in.
It's your
There's no
black swords of
downside.
plowshares.
Exactly.
If you're running white, you have a swords. If you're running black, you need a Orcish Bowmaster.
Because you want to know what the best counter to a Bowmaster is besides fucking cloning? It's a Bowmaster, dude.
Bowmaster.
Like, straight up. I remember when they announced this card, the Najila Discord, they were going insane about it.
Dude,
Turns out, dude, if you just
insane.
run a fucking Bowmaster, he deals with Bowmasters. But it's such a powerful card. It especially since our format has gone more mid range, because of Bowmaster, it's completely thrown away people running Peer into the Abyss now. Nobody runs that card anymore.
I mean, I've seen decks like Dihada will still play it, like because they're trying to do the Broodlord thing. The Sullen Half Broodlord
But
sacrifice.
it's not near. You don't see Blue Farms running it anymore. You don't see a lot of the big
that
ones.
never really took in Blue Farm. It did run it for a while when it was new, but
Adnaz was just doing so much
Adnaz is
better
way
for it.
better because the mana cost. Peer into the Abyss, I still play it in my Malcolm and Frankie, but it's only because I don't like Adnaz.
And it's only because you're
like
in Demir colors. You're committed to whatever. Like you just got the 2 colors, so
Yep.
But at the very
It's
least,
easier for me
if
to
there
cast.
is a Bowmaster on the board, no one's playing their
It's a
Peer
dead
into
card.
the Abyss.
It's a dead
Right.
card,
Yeah.
for sure. No, because I'm gonna play my Bowmaster first.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So what's your guys' number 5? We'll go with Kev first. What do you got?
My number 5 is such a sweet card, and it's been a hot topic lately. Actually, Born Upon the Wind, and the reason why it's been a hot topic is saying like with cards this powerful, Flash itself could be unbanned, and that's like a whole fucking topic of itself. Like, whew.
No,
I don't agree with that. Like these are those are 2 totally different animals there. Like
until they give us Golos back.
but Born Upon a Wind itself is just just casting it and hitting an instant speed Thoracle win over the top of somebody after you had
So
a Ristic
good.
out and you just drew it throughout the turn cycle. Just does that feel sweet? Does it feel like that? I'm not even mentioning the fact that you can cast it after Necro. Like
You just win.
there's just so many things you can do with this to just win the game. Like
It made Xur so much better.
oh my
It
god!
made literally
You don't have
every
to
Grixis
you don't have to
deck.
rely on the freaking 3 mana Shimmer Mirror or what the new one that got printed for Xur this year. Like
Battlethopter.
didn't even make my list. Or Urza's Battlethopter, Liberator Urza's Battlethopter didn't make my
He didn't make mine either.
It didn't make mine either. It's a great card, but it's
no.
just...
Born Upon a Wind is fantastic. I have mine a little higher, but
it replaces itself.
Yeah, it's a cantrip too.
It's
dude.
a cantrip.
Like, what do you mean?
On top of just breaking the game.
It's
like
bananas.
it does like it breaks the game, dude. Like
yeah.
Could you imagine cracking your Doomsday pile on somebody else's turn with a Born Upon a Wind?
It would make Doomsday somewhat, prevalent in the front of my brain. Like I don't think about Doomsday ever. Right?
Born Upon a Wind, but just for flavor, man. Just wait till it's Josh's turn and he goes for the win, and just Born Upon a Wind.
Yeah, fuck you. What's your 5, Ruckus?
My 5 is actually, I was switching numbers around, but it's Bowmasters, man. It is Bowmasters. You got Bowmasters. It's just
y'all don't have faith in, but dude.
So you know what it is? You know why I don't have faith in the Bowmasters anymore? Because it is such a force on the board that people will just not draw. They will refuse a draw. They will give you no value out of it, other than it being
even more powerful.
Other than it being a little stacks piece. But I mean, you're not getting any value from it. The thing about it is, look, this is how.
You are. If people are deciding not to draw, you're getting value off of that.
Okay, but even if it works the way you want it to work, right? when has it ever been good to want somebody else to draw? So my
It's never
Bowmaster's
good. It's never good to want somebody to draw, but you cannot stop them from. They're gonna. Everybody in the format is gonna try to draw. It's like
so yeah, exactly. So
inevitably.
say
Like
I have my Esper Sentinel on the battlefield, right?
it's like the black
It
drain magistrate.
incentivizes that card. The Bowmaster will incentivize you not to kill my Esper Sentinel because you want to ping and blow up a bunch of other stuff on the board that might be more impactful than my Esper
He
Sentinel.
is
How
right.
cool is
You
that?
will
That's
continue
another.
to allow
That's,
me to
that's
draw.
another. That's
But you
another
will
advantage.
let me draw. That this is it,
But
this
that's a
was the
bad
reason
play.
I didn't play the Bowmasters that much because I found myself saying, "Yeah, look, you know what? There's a heuristic study. There's a fish on the board, dude. I'm just gonna play into it because I can pound all your dorks away. That's cool, but you just drew 5 cards,
Yeah, exactly.
and then now when it's someone
Facilitates
like
bad
Kevin
play.
that's drawing 5 cards on the other side of the table on me, I don't care that I just took out your Birds of Paradise and your Land of War Elves and stuff like that because you're just going to shit on me with something else. The value you're getting from the draw, the other people are getting from the draws, as opposed to the value you're getting from a ping and a growing creature, I don't think it balances itself. I think it's a great card. I think it's a great card. I can't put it any higher.
I think like what you just said is like slightly false. Like I believe that it
That's why
like
we're here.
it ebbs the line, like it toes the line of back and forth the balance with it. Like there
Yeah,
are
but-
moments where you're not getting as much value, but there's moments when the pings are incrementally gaining and
That
the
instant
creature growth
flash at that flash in on
creature growth. Oh man,
at the flash
part.
in on a wheel. Yeah, boom.
Oh.
That's why it's so high on the list right now
Exactly.
because of that shock factor. Bang. I just fucked y'all up. You wheeled me and I killed you because you did it after
damage.
Adnos. You know, you did it
damage.
right after your Adnos while you're going for the win and I just blew your ass out. That's why it's a good card and that's why it's number 5. But I felt like I was giving people way more advantage than I needed to. And I was losing games because
I would like to chime in here and say
of like the 1 toughness creatures that are being eliminated from because of that.
But Ruckus isn't wrong. Like here's the thing: is I have seen it many of times where people will just let the Esper Sentinel lie around, so that way you can get draws and get more pings. If it like he isn't wrong in the sense that Bowmasters does facilitate some bad play, in the sense of like you're not going to ping that Esper right away. You're going to let them get a couple draws so you can ping some other shit, which. Like he said, yeah,
you're
your
gonna
pings
cast
are
the
good.
spell.
But then,
But
like,
your
if
pings
you're
are good,
there's the other
sure,
type of player
but they're
that's gonna
drawing
like
cards.
the Esper's gonna trigger, and you kill the Esper right away off of its first trigger, and stop the drawing cards for that opponent.
Yes.
So okay,
but
so
but not everybody has the same threat assessment.
Exactly. And then there say another, for instance, there's a heuristic study on the battlefield, right? Not the guy that has the Bowmaster, not the guy that has the stuff that you wanna kill. So I use that on my turn, not having a Bowmaster, to say, hey Bowmaster, I'm gonna give dude a draw real quick. I need you to kill this. Right? Neither one of us are getting
like the fact that it's a political tool like it is.
Exactly. But that's
another
it's sacrilege. It's sacrilege to give you a card in my book. If I don't have to give you the advantage, I will not play a wheel. I don't wheel.
It's why I don't either. My 7 outvaluing 21 cards.
Yeah, I don't want you anywhere.
That's a very good. That's a very solid point. But like, there are some decks that just really need that fresh 7. Like, and there are decks that take advantage of
like Kess
and times, like times of casting a wheel where it's all like, okay, I'm turn 1 seat 1, but I can wheel right now. And
no, yeah,
like
for sure.
I don't care.
That would be the only
21 other cards because
a wheel would be my gemstones, my gemstone mine. My gemstone caverns or whatever the fuck it is. If I had it on my turn 1 and I could cast it, it'd be the only time I ever was going to do it every game. That would be the only time. But if I cast it even on turn 2 after somebody's played a rock, a soul ring, and a land, dude, maybe a petal.
There's so much further ahead.
fuck you. You ain't getting a wheel.
The wheel debate is like a whole topic for a whole nother
that's
another
that's
day.
another
Yeah,
day.
let's go somewhere
All
else
right,
with that.
so we're gonna go to
Bowmasters is
number
my
4.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Talion.
Oh, you motherfucker!
So
This is also my
Talion,
number 4.
My number
Talion-
4 too, guys.
I'll
Beautiful.
well, all right, we'll get to mine, like, because my 4 is a little different, but
All right.
it includes Talion.
So Talion is fucking fantastic. I think Talion is one of the best Dimir cards printed in a long time. It's really good. It's like the perfect mid-range deck. It has its own deck built around it, which is nice, but it's also, I find it performs better in the 99 than it does in the command zone.
Yeah, well,
there is real, like, I have been having this real discussion for weeks now, and I'm actually going to pull the trigger on it. I'm going to try and straight up just swap Adnaz with Talion. Because, like, we're trying to make this a more mid-rangey game, right? So throwing a Talion in
the Gila deck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's like fucking Talion just provides so much value, and the pings on top of it. It's so good,
sorry.
dude.
Sorry.
good.
But yeah, like I don't know. I can't outvalue the drawing and the pingers that it provides. Sorry, not the drawing. The pinging it provides from when they play it. Fuck whatever the hell
2
number you
drop
say.
or
Yeah,
2
and you
power,
always
2
name
toughness.
2 or 1. Right?
That wide range of it, like
It's
like
CMC,
the
power,
C-
or toughness.
power
Dude.
or toughness. How many cards out there like cover that range?
It's absurd.
It's the only one I've heard of that like is like paying attention to like all those factors in one card,
100%.
like for the same ability. Like that's so powerful.
It's just ridiculous. But yeah, so Talion is just a boat, and I think it does deserve the 4 spot. What do you got over there, Kev? Because we already know Ruckus. He had to step away for a sec, but he said his top 4 is number 4 is Talion as well. We'll get his spew on it in a minute.
My 4 slot was a 3-way tie, and I did it like this because all 3 of these all came into the format, and as soon as they were legal, they had a definitive deck in the meta.
Yeah.
And that would be Obnixilis, Talion the Kindly Lord, and Atraxa Grand Unifier.
Yeah.
I couldn't find a spot for each of them, but I thought since all 3 of them had written in stone, we're here, we're staying, just deck power. Like I was like, you guys,
like as soon as they came in, they had decks like already.
Yes, they weren't. They weren't just cards that people were testing in. They were complete decks.
Yeah.
Built around as soon as they hit the format.
100%.
And yeah, that's why I gave it a 3-way tie between those ones. And the Talion talk, dude, it's another Ristic study in this format. Like you name 1 or 2.
Yeah,
depending on the situation, mostly 2. But I mean, you got a copy effect that doesn't care about legendaries. Like I've seen people just run Sakashima in 99s just because of this. Like, what the hell?
Who did you see run that deck, man? Who played that?
So, Rock, your 4 is Talion as well, right?
Talion as well. I don't know that I agree that it works better in the 99 as he does in
when
the,
you
in the
get wider amount of colors. Like if it's just a Dimir deck, I could see it just being at the helm, right? But if you want more colors,
for sure.
Well,
I'm just saying
how
it works.
Powerhouse.
How it works in the 99. Why I say I don't know if it's better is because
it's almost different because it's more of a Ristic study and less of a build around.
Exactly, because of what you can do with it at the helm of your deck and how you can power it out turn 1.
It made Blood Chief's Ascension relevant.
Yeah, man, Blood Chiefs and dude, Mind Crank. Who plays Mind Crank? Nothing.
Sorry, Molly.
Sorry, Molly. Sorry, Hot Show.
Yeah, no, yeah, but I played them all, and then all the bad copy effects that the Sakashima the Imposter and crap like that. Be dropping what's the Godfair Machine God's effigies.
Yeah,
I mean it makes so many cards good. and you can have more than one of them. But
Curse Mirror,
yeah,
freaking Phyrexian
it's good.
Metamorph.
I would venture to say it's good no matter where you put it. If you can
Yeah.
get it on the board, dude, it's
It's
never
it's gonna
something
it's
that
gonna draw you cards, and it's gonna ping at your
it's
opponents.
and
It's
it's
I
gonna
never
and
want
that
that. If you can fucking clone it, dude.
It's like
It's a
leg
great
kicks in
clone too.
UFC, dude. It's like leg
and
kicks in
one thing
UFC.
people don't sleep on the fact that it's making you lose 2 life every time
Yeah,
you cast
Yeah,
those
that
right.
leg
tremendous
kicks, man.
spell.
Those
That
leg
is
kicks,
not
dude.
exactly. Pretty soon you can't walk anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
You're crawling home, dude. You walk
Yeah,
home, you limping back.
people look up at their life totals after a couple turn cycles, and they're like, "How the fuck did I get down to 18 life?
Mhm.
What is going on?"
It's a
Times did I cast
recurring
that
And I'm
fucking.
just sitting here like, I don't know. What are you doing? Like, but yeah, great card, Italian.
100%. Rock, what do you got number
Very,
3?
Number 3 was actually it was Born Upon a Wind.
Mm.
Born Upon a Wind. Like everybody we talked about earlier, Born Upon a Wind. I think everybody sees that it's really good. I don't. It's just. It's a game bending card when it's used in the right spot. If you're not
It
just trying to
breaks
get the cantrip,
right
you've
thing,
broken the
dude.
game. If it lands, if it resolves, no one's ever casting it to just flash out some value.
Yeah.
You know, it's a card that's going to end the game if it's not dealt with,
100%.
or if there's So, Born Upon the Wind, as far as being a strong card, it is for 2 mana.
Even if it
one
didn't
of
replace
these
itself, even if
Yeah.
it didn't replace itself, if it didn't cantrip, I still think it would be this high on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, because Flash Flash Hulk was a thing, dude, and everybody knows about it. I mean,
That's totally different, like monster though. That just like puts the thing out too.
Oh, I
It's
guess,
like,
yeah,
but like
it
just the
allows you to
ability
do the same thing.
man, the ability to have that Teferi ability without having a Teferi out stopping your like opponents from interacting or whatever, like the dangerous effect of
Yeah.
of the Teferi, like it's so chef's kiss, dude. Like we're gonna say that a bunch, but it really is.
What do you got at your 3, Kev?
Oh man, it's a card that like if you guys know me, you probably think that it would be my number 1, but I have it at number 3, and it is Agatha's Soul Cauldron.
Oh man.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that card printed, I was hooting and hollering. I was like, this does so much. There's no downside to it. Like, I swear the only downside to it is that it's 2 and not 1, so you can't search it as a saga. Like, that's the only downside I can think. Like, it is so powerful on so many levels. Like,
I was actually on Sisay when this card got dropped, and when it was spoiled for the not spoiled. What do you call it when it was leaked?
yeah, leaks.
Or when the set leak, I was on Sisay, Weatherlight Captain, and I about shit my pants, dude. I said, in my head, I was like, I could just spin Sisay with my mana rocks, a vault, and a soul ring will get me a tutor, and that it was the best card in the format for me.
I was
there was nothing else better for me than that card. I had to have.
On Kenrith or just recently off Kenrith, but it made me go back to it because of that factor right there. Just being like, oh, I don't need colored mana now.
Any colored mana on my
I don't
5
need colored mana.
5 colored
the
deck?
Zerta thing just got stronger. The Kinnan thing just got stronger. Like, and so
Yeah.
many different combos that make infinite colorless mana just got so much stronger because that was like the thing that was holding Kenrith back is the fact that you have to have the blue mana to draw a card, or you had to have the green mana to pump them up,
Or the black to reanimate.
or the black to reanimate. Like no, you just need colorless, dog.
Shit.
Like friggin',
You need mana. You need mana.
We're just going fast now.
So
yeah,
I was a
Use
little.
my card
turn
to
your
make
black,
6
blue, and purple
mana.
So I was a little late coming on the Agatha's bandwagon here, but as soon as I started playing with it, I immediately seen its power, and I'm like, wait, okay.
Najila doesn't need.
Yeah, I just
doesn't
don't
need
need.
Wooburr.
I can fucking do it with a Soul Ring and a Mana Vault.
Derevi, and like, let's go, dude. Like, I don't.
Yeah, it's nothing. But like you said, Kevin, there is literally no downside to running it. Like, okay, yeah, it's a Dockside Peter.
It takes up a slot.
Ristic. Yeah, it takes up a spot in the deck. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's the downside. Every card takes up a spot.
It makes your creatures bigger. It makes your creatures have activated abilities they wouldn't normally have access to.
Yeah, dude,
And
the fact that it
in some
enables
cases, like it's a
+1
great
+1
little combo
counter.
thing. It makes your creature activated abilities cost like colorless mana, essentially. Like, yeah, it's my
It's
number 3 as well.
it stops your creature outlets. So it makes your creature. It makes it so that you don't give a shit if your creature outlets are interacted with
Mm-hmm.
at
Oh
all.
man, this is the strongest point for me. It
At
turns
all.
it. I just play a hermit druid. I don't care.
Yeah.
I
Kill
play it
it.
out.
Yeah,
Now
I hope you
kill it.
kill it
Kill it.
before it doesn't have
Kill it.
summoning
Like now you're
sickness.
giving me faster. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I already have a creature without summoning sickness. Do it.
Exactly.
Like, so it forces everybody to have to exile the things that are scary, and sometimes they just don't have that exile ability, man. And you just
Yeah, yeah. It's like you
they're
gotta
they're
have
gonna
those.
bust their tutor on it, their demonic tutor, just so that you can't get into a combo, and they feel like they're wasting their whole game plan now. But yeah, man, the card's a house, dude. And if they didn't print it would be my number 1 card.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I guess I'll kick it off. My number 2 is a card we brought up a few times already. It's Born Upon a Wind. I think,
Okay.
like we've said 100 times, and you'll hear it 101st here. Just the ability of being able to win on top of somebody's win. I've done it several times with Najila. I've done it once or twice with Frankie Crum. It's such a rewarding feeling, and those games are games you'll always remember because it's something you can look back on and be like, "Yo, it was fucking hilarious when
I
so
broke
and
the
so
game.
was so
So
yeah
they were
somebody
trying to
was
win, but I got to do it before them.
exactly I
Shut
got
up.
one on top of Weiss the other night by doing a Born Upon a Win on top of his Rocco trigger, and just fucking one on like with the Thoracle on his turn. Like that's sick, right? Just having the ability to do that. And like initially, Born Upon a Win was a
Playing
card that I
Heuristic
thought was
Study
only going to be
and
good in
drawing into
Zerg.
your stuff. Just as the turns go around, like you just draw in. By the time it's like the person's in step before you, just freaking.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
got it in here right now. Oh man, you had something to stop it. Well, now I get to take my turn
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and do what I was gonna do
and
anyway.
to do what I was going to do anyway. Oh
Yeah.
man,
So like,
It's the best when you've got somebody that is so sure they're about to win the game,
mm-hmm.
and they're, oh yeah, I'm just gonna. Are you guys ready to scoop?
Oh yeah, and then you're like,
What are you doing next, sir? I will respond
yeah.
with a Born Upon a Wind, and you can
And then
eat
watch
shit.
them fucking clamor and panic and have no
Yep.
responses. Oh yeah,
Yep.
it's great.
It's
But the thing
the
is that
beast.
when it first came out, I initially thought it was only going to be good in Zur because I'm like, yeah, it's good with Necropotence, but like that's really it. Nah, man.
no,
If
it's
you're in
good with
blue, just
Minikets.
slot it in your deck. Honestly, it's at this point that's kind of where it's gotten to. Like it's pretty much a blue include, just because
Auto
the
include mine, but
instant gratification of being able to win on the spot at any given moment. Period. You can win here right now. Instead of being able to win on 25% of the game, you now have access to the whole 100%. Right?
In response to your PETA, in response to your ad
exactly.
nauseum, in response to your Thoracle, sir.
Exactly. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Kev, what's your 2?
My 2 is the Boogeyman. It is Orcish Bowmasters. Is what I had at my 2. Because, like you said, the best thing for a Bowmaster is a Bowmaster. It's the incremental, just pinging people down. And when it was printed, very, very ad nauseam meta. Is even more of a card draw meta now. So its power with the pings just got like that much better. I know we don't want our opponents drawing, but they're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
So like this, it's good to have such a low mana investment in something that is going to like slowly peg them down while also building up that army. And like people are swinging with 12-12 orcs or 21-21 orcs, and like you just like, God, does that thing have trample? No, God, thank God, I'm gonna throw this birds of paradise in the way. Like,
Yeah.
but
So Ruck and I had a conversation. I don't know if it was earlier today or the other day, but like the thing that's also really good about Bowmaster is the fact that it's gonna eat up a good chunk of the clone effects. So it's not just that a Bowmaster is a perfect answer for a Bowmaster, but it's also eating up like another 2, 3, 4 cards in other people's decks as well because they're wasting it cloning a Bowmaster to deal with the other person's Bowmaster.
instead of cloning their dock side, it's pulling a dock side
Exactly.
out of their deck at the very least if
It's
they're
like
running red.
I'd
you
much
know?
rather them deal with the Bowmaster than be 8 mana ahead of me.
Yeah,
Now,
no, yeah, never arguing that it's bad, dude. Never.
yeah.
It's an awesome card, and in some decks, it's way better than just an auto include because it's black.
Mhm.
You know, like my honorable mention, Obnixilis, dude.
Yeah.
That it's sickening.
Paired
What
with
you can do.
Nixilis, like
Yeah,
that's like one of the best cards for it. Like they just
yeah.
hold
That
hands.
one and that stupid Keteric Parasite. When anybody draws a card, they take a damage. That again is a in that deck. There's not a lot of cards that you can put in the 2 spot that would kick that one out. So
Oh, yeah.
Bowmaster's definitely good card, man.
Rocky, what do you got?
But I
for
think
number-
everybody knows what number. No, mine was the Cauldron.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Cauldron was the only reason I couldn't put the Cauldron in the 1 spot is because there's already something with one
One in its
on,
name.
We all
on the
have
name,
that. I
and
remember one.
yeah, so the One Ring
Yeah.
is my number one.
The number
And
one ring. The One
just
Ring
because
is the definitive number
yeah,
one.
every
It's an
every
auto
yeah.
include in
Oh look,
every deck now. Every
and
commander deck.
Yeah.
at my
You just
bottom card is
like
right.
it's
That's hilarious.
an auto include. Like
Any deck that has 4 mana in it needs to
wants
have
it.
it needs to have a if you've
You
got
better
at
have a
least
good
4
excuse to not
lands.
run it. You better
Yeah,
have the best excuse not to run it. Like there's just too
there's-
much upside with
It's
it.
literally so like it's a heuristic study for every color now, right? Like
Yeah,
well, it's
and
no, it's and then it turns into an Adnos, and then
Mhm.
it turns into a PETA.
Yeah.
So
like yeah,
especially with how people are breaking it now. Everybody started with I'm just gonna run keys and
Mhm.
and untap it and
Minamo
keys
and
Minamo, and I'll get a what do you call it, the green thing that fucking
Seedborn Muse.
Seedborn Muse to untap it every turn, and it's great. I mean, dude, you can break that card with anything. And Derevi,
Derevi.
like we were talking
Break
about
it in
earlier.
every color.
I was talking to Josh the other day about making Derevi why can't I not talk right now? Derevi tokens,
Yeah.
and just swinging wide with 10 tokens every turn and untapping my One
Ring
Ring
10
to
times.
10
Yeah.
times, dude. Draw my deck out before I can tap it the last time,
Yeah, exactly.
it's a card that doesn't make any sense. It had to have been 4 mana.
Oh yeah.
Even the added protection, I feel like
Just forget about the protection, dude.
that's
Like
just
it's like
it's a great thing to have just as a side piece for having this unbelievable draw engine that you've got now.
And it's slept
But
on. People always forget
it's
about
still it is slept on as well because I mean it can protect you. You never hate drawing into a One Ring.
Mhm.
So whether it's somebody already about to go for a win and you don't got a bunch of shit on the board, and maybe it's Josh with his Nagila swings and you're like, I got 4 mana, he can't beat me next turn.
it. Yep.
But it's not as good as the draw power, but it's not nothing.
it's definitely not
No, yeah.
nothing.
It's
It's-
not nothing.
I don't think that they've printed a more powerful card in a long time. Like there's just
I don't.
it's
No.
just
I mean, it is
the fact that
it
it's
is
an artifact
the
that can
truth.
literally just slot into every deck.
Every single commander deck. Like if you don't play it, you tell
It's because you
why
don't
not.
have it.
Yeah,
why
that's
it's like if
literally
you
it.
either don't have it or you have a terrible excuse on why you're not.
And you
There's I
yeah,
guarantee I
exactly.
could find 5 cards in your deck that would just like the bring would be better than. Like
Mhm.
And they'd probably be even the best card in your deck. I would cut for the ring.
Yeah,
know,
right.
exactly.
Like even if it combos with your commander, I
yeah,
reason to play something else.
you have to play the ring. I don't care what you're doing. If you're in CEDH, I guess. I mean, I don't care if it's
Even in
casual.
casual,
It's
dude.
1 power. If you're playing a ring in 1 power, you're probably gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
And like people argue like, oh, but it's a 4 mana investment. Like, what if it gets well? Then it gets countered. At least it's 4 colorless mana, and it's the easiest to like ramp to.
Mm-hmm.
You can play turn 1 Soul Ring, Mana Vault, Ring.
I mean, non-creature counters. The counters that say non-creature are not as played. I mean,
Dude, that's a whole nother topic that I've been
Yeah.
trying to preach here just
Yeah.
as of late. Like, people want to complain about something, but it's like you won't even run a mana drain out there. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
like
And it's easy to slip in right now because the meta was all about instants and sorceries, and the swans are the cheap ones that don't counter any non-creature. They just counter there's certain
they have
stipulations. It's not an
stipulations.
enchantment, so the swan song's not going to get it. I mean, you're using a free counter spell, you're using your force of will, you might use a pact of negation on it
Yeah.
and pay 5 mana for him not to get his 4 mana thing, because it's just that fucking bad if it
100%.
lands, you know.
All right, so let's try and compile an entire list for all of us here as like our little stamp of approval top 10. So we got the One Ring at number 1.
For sure.
What do
We
we
would
think
probably
is
say-
number 2?
I think collectively we could put Soul Cauldron at 2.
Agatha's at 2.
I'm willing to bump up the Bowmasters if you'll bump up the Cauldron.
Yeah, I'll bump the Cauldron up
Bump
to 2.
up the Bowmasters if we bump up Cauldron too. I think
Yeah.
Agatha's is another card that also provides no downside to running in your deck, and the fact, like, yet again, it's another colorless artifact at 2-drop, so you can turn one Soul Ring into Agatha's, and now you're outpacing all the other Agatha decks out there.
And at the very least, you're interacting with somebody's graveyard, whether
Yeah.
it's not a creature or not. If anything goes into the bin by accident and you have the Cauldron out on the battlefield, it's a yoink. If you're only using it for that, it's still not a bad card at 2 mana, man.
Exactly.
Especially when you're untapping it every turn.
So are we doing number 3, Bow?
Yeah,
I'm good with Bow at 3.
I'm like those 3. They're the top 3 that have been printed this year.
I'm good with Bow
I'm
at 3.
cool with that.
For sure.
So what do we got
sure.
at 4?
Now that's where we start getting straight into the path.
Italian is what I had at 4.
I
had Talion in my 4 slot as well.
All right.
I think all of us did.
I think we can
all
can
agree at Talion at number 4.
there. And we all had Born Upon a Wind within our top 5s as well. So I
Yeah.
could see
pulled
that being
Born out of 3 for your Bowmasters. So
I put Born out of
I can
2
put
for
it.
Agatha.
I can
put Born in 5. Born is 5.
Yeah, Born goes 5.
All right, and 6. What do we got for 6?
I think I had the duplicate.
You had the duplicate.
I had a Traxa.
How high up was a Traxa in your guys' list? Because I had a Traxa
6.
tied for 4.
I had 10. Mine was 10. I suppose.
I
suppose like a Traxa is a lot stronger than the duplicate is.
I'm down to put Flesh Duplicate in the top 10. I just don't know if it would sit at 6 for me. I think it tracks just the fact that it's its own deck and it straight up removed a deck out of rotation. I think it might warrant a spot at number 6.
I could bring my duplicate down to about just below. Yeah, I can go 9 with the duplicate.
Yeah, that would like
go that
kick
far.
out.
Yeah.
So what do we got at 7?
I had Dauntless Mailer and Siege at 10, but
So we'll go. I guess yeah. We'll
I had
the Traxa.
Lotho and Ob Nixilis are the ones that were in my top that are no longer in contingency for those.
I could put like so what's 7, or is that that's what
I would say Besiege.
Where we're at.
Besiege?
I had we both had Ikoria higher than
Ikoria.
yeah,
I missed
we can
it
put
completely.
Invasion
I'm
of
way more on Ikoria than Besiege for sure. Yeah, I missed that one completely.
Okay. What do we want at 8?
I've got Halfling sitting at 8 right now with
I'm good with that because I pushed duplicate down past it.
No,
you have it above Besiege the Mirror?
What? I have Halfling above? Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
right from the get-go I did.
Okay, yeah.
I had it at 8.
Do we think
Besiege at
that
10.
Delighted Halfling is better than like a Lotho?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Delighted Halfling can...
We lost you.
Who? Me?
Yeah. Delighted Halfling can what? You're good now.
Oh. It can go into more decks than Lotho.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Less color intensive. It's got a bigger butt.
Fair.
It's not contingent on somebody playing.
It's guaranteeing the mana advantage that Lotho it'll take you up one
Yeah.
every turn, like type thing, like every turn cycle that it's
What do
alive.
we got
type
at
thing.
number 9?
I'm
Beseech?
good
What are we
to put Beseech
Or
there. I've got
duplicate.
like what I've got
I'd like
left in my
duplicate there.
lists are Dauntless Dismantler, Lotho, Beseech, Flesh Duplicate are like the ones that I'm left. Like and Obnixlet. He's kind of dropped down quite a bit the more we.
I'm good at duplicate before Beseech.
I'm cool with Flesh. Honestly, I'm cool with Flesh Duplicate.
At 9.
Yeah.
And then Beseech at 10, maybe.
Yeah.
That's my vote. Y'all can change it up.
I'm fine with. I'm cool with that. Like, for me, for 10, it's like a toss up between 3, right? So it's either Beseech, it's either Obnix, or it's Lotho. I know I made an argument for my own list about Kite Sail. I do like Kite Sail, but I could see the argument for Lotho over him. So
I could go either way on the Ob.
Kite Sail, but
the
I have not seen it yet. Like I haven't seen it in practice enough to like even give it
no, yeah, totally
enough thought.
Sure.
It's more of like theory crafting for me, like at this point, than it is like actual proven ground.
for sure.
I would be cool with Beseech coming off for Ob.
Yeah,
Obnix
Ob.
list was
Yeah.
really good.
It's like it's a definitive deck, you know.
And it's a really good deck as well. It's not just like some like one trick pony.
Yeah,
It really made Rakdos mid range viable.
for sure.
All right, so here I'll run us through the list real quick. For our collective list here, we got the One Ring at number 1, Agatha's Soul Cauldron at number 2, Bowmaster at number 3, we got Talion at number 4, Born Upon a Wind at number 5, Atraxa at 6, Invasion of Ikoria at 7, Delighted Halfling at 8, Flesh Duplicate at 9, and Obnix List at 10.
Oh yeah, bro.
That
Sounds good. That
pretty
sounds like a good fucking list, man.
Honorable mentions being Dismantler, Lotho, Beseech, Hoarding Brewlord, Fairy Mastermind was one that didn't talk about.
Neither did the Shredder.
Ledger Shredder was
that this
New
year?
Capenna. That was New Capenna.
Yeah,
Was
I think
this?
that was last year.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I like the Mastermind. I'm actually running it right now.
I do like Mastermind. The only thing is literally after Mastermind got printed, Bowmaster got printed. An immediate response to him, right?
It took a shit.
And like the Mastermind triggers the Bowmaster.
Exactly.
Like it's just like
it's like the
but
it's like the
it still has that 2/1 ambush viper effect to it.
No, yeah.
And it's also a flash response for a Thorical win.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It is a Thorical counter, a very expensive one, and it does give like your other opponents a little advantages, but it does stop.
I mean, I'll give you a card if I'm stopping somebody on the win.
Yeah, exactly. If it keeps the game going, I'll give you a card.
I'll give you a card, even though it's sacrilege.
Well,
not bad, you guys. That sounds like
that's
a
great ass list, right
real
there,
good,
boys.
real good episode 1, my dude.
Yeah,
better than Phantom Menace, you know.
All right, well, guys, thank you for watching this clusterfuck of a podcast. Hopefully, you enjoy it. If you do, please let us know in the comments below, and if you like it, we'll continue on doing this shit. We have some more topics that we want to talk about, so we're always.
And if you have more topics that you want us to talk about,
send them in. Let us know.
There's some messages, man. Now y'all know I'm not just hands.
There's a face to these hands.
There's a
face.
All right,
we'll catch you guys
pretty.
later. Deuces.